Hello there, and welcome to Leader Actions in Less Than 5, where we provide practical tips for leaders to make their teams and organizations better while we students of leadership continue to grow and improve. My name is Micah Lunt with Lunt Consulting, and today, in the spirit of honoring Dr. Martin Luther King and his tremendous influence on civil rights, labor rights, voting rights, and many others, we're discussing how leaders prevent and address discrimination while also enforcing accountability standards. We've come a long way since Dr. King delivered his I Have a Dream speech, but we're still very far from our destination. In fiscal year 2022, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, the federal agency charged with enforcing discrimination laws, obtained $513 million in benefits for victims of discrimination and also received over 73,000 new discrimination charges, both being significant increases from the previous year. Although discrimination has always been wrong and stupid, it's actually only been illegal for a relatively short period of time when we look at our history. And laws continue to evolve as new forms of discrimination do as well. The bad news is that formal leaders and organizations are struggling to get this right. The good news is that when formal leaders focus on attendance, performance, and conduct standards only, protected class membership is irrelevant when those standards are fairly and equitably enforced. I want to make sure this is clear. Anti-discrimination laws and protected classes are extraordinarily important. Their purpose is to ensure that protected class membership does not affect employment decisions. The best performing organizations are both free from discrimination and have high standards for attendance, performance, and conduct that are fairly and equitably enforced across the organization. I want to give a huge shout out to Mike Mirachi and his trainings on Reset the Clock, Practical Employee Relations for Leaders. I first attended one of his trainings over a decade ago, and his work is truly the basis for my employee relations knowledge and practices that I use as a formal leader and help others successfully implement at their organizations. For our leader actions, starting with self-reflection, think about the core group of people you work with every day. If you're a formal leader, think about the people that you directly supervise. Go through each of them one by one and ask yourself, what standards of attendance, what standards of performance, what standards of conduct do I hold each person to? Are they truly the same? Often when it comes to accountability standards, we ask ourselves questions along the disciplinary, corrective, or negative side. As an interesting experiment, start on the other side. Do you recognize and reward fairly? Are the people who exceed attendance, performance, and conduct standards recognized and rewarded? If you're really open with yourself, do you enjoy recognizing and rewarding Sally, but not Susie? If so, force yourself to answer why. Back on the traditional side, do you notice and correct failures to meet standards fairly? I realize that depending upon your position in your organization, you may not have direct control over policy. But if you're a formal leader, you absolutely have a responsibility and duty to enforce it. So wouldn't you feel better about it if it was current and compliant with all the appropriate regulations? When things go badly and a formal leader or organization find themselves the subject of a discrimination or retaliation complaint or lawsuit, you can absolutely guarantee that one of the first things that will be checked is whether or not your policies regarding discrimination and retaliation for protected classes are current. At the federal level, applicants, employees, and former employees are protected from employment discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, which includes pregnancy, sexual orientation or gender identity, national origin, age, being 40 or older, disability, and genetic information, which includes family medical history. Applicants, employees, or former employees are also protected from retaliation or punishment for filing a charge or complaint of discrimination, participating in any kind of discrimination investigation or lawsuit, or opposing discrimination. That's all at the federal level. Depending upon the jurisdictions where your organization is based and or operates, there may be more protected classes that should be mentioned in your policies. Remember, the key to avoiding charges of discrimination or retaliation is focusing on standards of attendance, performance, and conduct, while appreciating diverse input and psychologically safe environments in our organization and on your teams. And that leads us to our final leader action of assessing your culture. And this can be as simple as directly asking your members of your team if they've experienced or witnessed any form of discrimination, and if they haven't, if they'd feel comfortable reporting such an incident if they knew how to. For large organizations, surveys that protect confidentiality can be issued. If you just talk about discrimination once a year or don't even talk about it and issue a checkbox with a policy acknowledgement, you might find yourself blindsided with a charge of discrimination or a complaint that you could have easily corrected and avoided. To you, the students of leadership like me, thank you for what you do in service to those in your charge. It's tough but awesome work. If you found any value from this, please share it with others. I'd certainly appreciate it, and I think they will too, as we continue to learn about the art and science of leadership. If there's ever anything that I can do, please don't hesitate to reach out. All my contact information is at luntconsulting.com. Take care.